What's good, YouTube peeps and barbecue freaks? Thank you guys for stopping by today. Today's video is going to be some ribs that I'm going to do on my Weber Smokey Mountain. Now, I had a subscriber ask me if I had a rib video being done on the Weber Smokey Mountain. And you know what? Of all the videos that I've done, that's one that I've never done. I've cooked brisket. I've cooked pork butt. I don't think I've ever cooked ribs on the Weber Smokey Mountain. So that's what we're going to do today. Not only that, we're going to do two kinds of ribs. First, we're going to do some baby back ribs for the missus. For me, I'm doing some beef ribs. I love me a good, big, meaty, dino beef rib. That's what we're going to do today. I'm going to have two different ribs going. It's going to be good. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Let's get started. All right, so these are the beef ribs. As you can see, these things are massive. It's a 4-bone, so that's pretty thick. If you're wondering what I paid for the whole thing, $26.92, $4.69 a pound, and 5.74 pounds. And this is actually probably the cheapest that I paid for them, because they're usually around 35 bucks for a rack like this. But that's what they look like. They always have this one end, and I'll show it here more when I get to trimming, but that's just a ton of fat here that if you dig it out, it kind of leaves a divot in there, but I may not do much trimming. I don't know, we'll see. But that's what they look like. Then I got some baby backs here that I'm gonna get on also for the missus. So I'm gonna get these. I'm only gonna remove the membrane from this. It doesn't look like I need to do any trimming. And then once I get this open, I'll do some trimming on here. All right, so I got the rack here, 4-bone. This thing is huge, huge. Just gonna take my knife. I don't even know where to begin. It helps to have a really sharp knife with a pointy tip. So you get under this membrane, or this, not membrane, this silver skin. You want to make sure not to take off too much meat. So I'm going to get as much of this removed as possible without getting off as much meat as possible. We'll see. All right, so I got the ribs trimmed up about as much as I want to. Here, I've always noticed that there's always one end here that it's just like a big old divot, and if I keep going, I'm probably gonna hit bone, so I'm just gonna leave that. The rub I'm gonna use, Moke Sounds beef rub. When we cooked at Dawson Rodeo, he gave me a few bottles, so we're gonna run with that. I've used it before, it's really good. I did not remove the membrane on the back. I am gonna season the back though, just because, but I am gonna just go really lightly with it. I just like to try to season the whole rack whenever I can, but just very, very lightly. Get this over. Get some W sauce, Worcestershire. Make sure you get the sides as well. And just give this bad boy a good coating. This rub, if you haven't tried it, is really, really good. Mo's got a phenomenal product. So I got the bottom rub down, got the sides rubbed down, get this top rubbed down, and I'm gonna let it set a little bit while I get the grill fired up. It's gonna be some good eating, you guys. So that's that, put it aside. I'm gonna get the baby backs. I'm not sure what rub I'm gonna use on those yet. I'll let you know. All right, so I got the baby backs here. I didn't do any trimming really. I did remove the membrane from the back. And for this, I'm not gonna use the binder, and the rubs I'm gonna use on this one, I'm gonna go with this Texas Trinity from B&B. It's a SPG type of rub. And then I'm going to use the Texas Best Rib Rub from Heaven Made Products. Really like this rub. So, and I'm not using a binder for this one. I'm gonna let these are gonna sit a little longer. And since this is heavier in salt, this rub here, it should sweat in pretty good. And I'm using this because the Texas Best rubs, like the brisket rub, the rib rub, they're actually low in sodium. So I'm using a rub with it to add some salt content to this. Flip over. Hit the top side. Tell you what, this rack is actually really thick. These baby backs are really thick, especially right in here. Good gosh. So that was a Texas Trinity from B&B. This is the rib rub, Texas Best Rib Rub from Heaven Made Products. So we're gonna let this sit. I'm gonna go fire up the Weber Smokey Mountain, and we'll get these bad boys on. All right, so I have my Weber Smokey Mountain here. This is a 22 and a half inch. I'm gonna run some B&B oak lump charcoal for this cook. I'm gonna get some of that dumped in here. We'll get some lit, and I'll show you how I start this fire. All right, you guys, so I got the lump in here. I've got one of these Weber starter cubes. Just gonna put that right in here and get that lit. And then place some of these other bigger pieces of lump right around it and let it catch. If I was using charcoal, I would probably kind of do the same thing, except take some charcoal, put in a chimney here, and then dump it on top. But I think this is going to catch fairly quickly. So, and I didn't fill the whole thing up. When I spread it out, it's probably going to be about halfway. So, this isn't like a brisket cook that's going to take, upwards of 10 plus hours. So I don't need to fill the whole basket up, but this is what it looks like. We'll let it catch, and once it's ready to go, we'll get the meat on. For you guys, as you can tell, this lump is lit. I'm gonna get the top part of the Weber Smokey Mountain on, let it come up to temp, and then we'll get these ribs on. See, we're right at 250. Let me show you the inside. I do have the water pan in here with some foil, just to make for easy cleanup. I'm not sure if I'm gonna add water to that just yet. I think I will, but I haven't decided. So again, right at 250, I'm gonna get the meat on. Got the ribs on, the baby backs here, the beef ribs there. I am gonna add some water to the water pan there, and then just try to dial in right at 250, keep it at 250, and let it run. Now, even though it's oak lump charcoal, I am gonna add some pecan chunks to the fire. I haven't added that yet, but I'm about to. So I am using pecan wood. So that's it. We'll get this lid on here and get this cook underway. We'll check back in about an hour, see how they're doing. You guys, we are an hour in, and we're sitting at right at 260. I don't think I mentioned earlier, but the bottom vents are halfway open and the top vent is halfway open. So we're gonna take a look, spritz these if they need it. Look at that. Oh yeah, looking good. We're gonna spritz these, and I'm just going to use some water as my spritz. So let me get these spritzed up real quick. I should have brought my tripod, but I didn't have it with me. So I'm gonna spritz these up with some water, and I'll show you what they look like after I spritz them. All right, so I just spritz them, as you can tell. That's what they look like. I am going to flip these around, these baby backs, and the same thing with the beef ribs. Ooh, it's hot. Just to make sure that we get even cooking. Get the lid back on and check back in about another hour or so. All right, you guys, 2.5 hours in, we're sitting right at 250. So that's perfect. I'm gonna get this lid off, give them a quick spritz, and I think the baby backs might be ready for a wrap. We'll take a look. All right, so these baby backs, they're ready to be wrapped. This bark is set. The beef ribs here, you can see we're starting to get some really good pullback on these bones. This bark isn't set just yet, so we're gonna let that go a little longer. But I'm gonna take these baby backs inside. We're gonna wrap them in some foil. I'm not gonna add a whole lot to the foil. I maybe just, may just add some water to it. We'll see. But I'm gonna get these inside, get them wrapped, get them back out here, and these still have a ways to go. All right, so I got the baby backs here. I'm gonna wrap them. I'm just gonna hit them. I've been spritzing with water, so that's what I'm gonna just do here to this wrap. And then I am gonna just come back with a little more of that Texas Best rib rub from Heaven Made Products, just to kind of add a little more flavor to it. Just because. Get this flipped upside down. Again, there's still some fat in here that's going to render out, so as it does, I want it to render through that meat. Hit it with a little more water, just to add a little more moisture to this wrap. And that's it. Now, whatever you're spritzing with, I just use water. You could use apple juice, apple cider vinegar, whatever you want. But whatever you're wrapping with, I would suggest just kind of doing what I'm doing. Once you wrap it, just spray a little bit more of that juice in there. Just add a little bit of liquid to it, a little bit of more moisture. But you can't go wrong with whatever you're using to spritz. So I'm gonna get this wrapped up, get it back on the pit. The beef ribs, I'm gonna guess maybe another hour before it's time to wrap that. And again, I'm just waiting until that bark is set before I wrap. So I'm gonna get these wrapped up, get them back on the Weber Smokey Mountain, and I'll pick back up once it's time to wrap the beef ribs. All right, so these ribs, these baby back ribs, they've been wrapped for about 45 minutes, and as you can see, we got some pullback on this, or on this rack. I did temp them with a thermopin, so they're done. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and sauce them. The sauce I'm going to use is sauce from Big Mo Quezon, his I-20 sauce. It's actually really good. It's a nice sweet sauce. So I think the missus is going to like that. So I'm just going to add a little bit to this back side. Get it spread out. And then I'm going to add some to the meat side. I'm going to get them back on. Let them go for about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, just to kind of let this sauce set, and then we'll pull them off and give them a shot, or give them a try. These beef ribs, they're just about ready to wrap, so I'm gonna wrap those in just a second. I knew the baby backs were gonna get done quicker, obviously, so this is just about done. We'll flip them over, get the meat side. Whew. Hot, hot, hot. And then again, we're gonna get them back on the Weber Smokey Mountain. I'm gonna take them out of the foil, get them back on the Weber Smokey Mountain for about 15 minutes. They'll be ready to go. We'll pull them off, let them rest for a little while, and give them a taste. All right, so these beef ribs, I think the bark is set. We're gonna get them wrapped up. You can see we're starting to get some good pullback here on these bones. I am going to spritz it. Again, I'm just using the same spritz that I used, throughout the entire cook. Just a little bit there. I'm not gonna add anything to it. Let's get it wrapped up. Now you want to be careful because those bones will poke through the foil. So one, make sure you're using heavy duty foil. Two, make sure you double it up. So I have one layer here. I am going to pull another piece of foil out and double layer it. But I just want to get these ribs wrapped up nice and easy. And then I am going to pull another piece of foil. So I'm going to get these back on the Weber Smokey Mountain. And I'm going to let these go for probably about another hour. And then we'll check on them. All right, you guys, these baby backs are done. Just put them off. I'm going to let them rest for, I don't know, 20-30 minutes. And then we'll cut into them and see how they taste. All right, you guys, these baby backs are done. This is what they look like here. Plenty of moisture, meaty. We'll see what they taste like. Let's give it a bite. Nice clean bite. It's actually really good. All right, you guys, so these are the beef ribs, so they're done. As you can see, we got some really good pullback on this side. You got some pullback, some really good pullback on this side. So I'm gonna let them rest. I did temp them with my Thermopin, and they're about 206, 208, so they're done. So we're gonna let them rest for probably about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we'll cut into them and see how they taste. We got that one cut off. I'm gonna go one more. Just right between these big old bones. It cuts perfectly. Oh yeah. You know what? Let's go ahead and cut this last one here. All right, so all right, so this is what the beef rib looks like. You can see here, this thing's about to fall right off this bone. You got a nice smoke ring all the way around. It's juicy. Good gosh, I cannot wait to bite into this. Look, this thing's about to come right off this bone, you guys. If you can see it on this side, right here, look, it's coming right off the bone. So I'm gonna get this off the bone. We're gonna give it a taste and see how it, how it turned out. I'm just, you know what, I'm just gonna cut it right here, right on top of the bone. Look at that big old chunk of beef rib. Beautiful smoke ring, nice, tender, moist. We're gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna move this aside. I'm gonna cut a couple pieces into here. Look at this. Man, that is moist. Oh, it's hot, 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 hot. We're gonna give this a taste and see what it looks like. All right, so I got one of these beef ribs cut up into little chunks. As you can see, look at that. Beautiful smoke ring. Good gosh almighty. And it's still nice and juicy. See some fat in there. Look at that. This is part of the beef rib that I cut off of the bone. I'm gonna cut a piece of this and we're gonna give it a taste. I cannot wait to try this. Look at that. All right, you guys, I got a piece of the beef rib here. Look at that. Good gosh, that looks good. We're gonna give it a taste. And man, this thing is so tender. It is so tender. We're gonna taste, see what it tastes like. Oh, that thing just bit right off. I can't tell you how good that is. That is excellent. That beef rib with the Mo Quezon beef rub. I'm gonna have some good eating for the rest of the week. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys next time. Take care.